We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport. Welcome to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're here in the Stressless studio. Rick, it's going to be a great day. We got tons of great guests. Remember, Rick, if you want to get your Stressless, you go to centerlinedistribution.net and use the promo code JR24, which does work now.
Right.
So good job getting that done.
Got to get it done together.
That's right. Go team.
Well, let's talk about the Stressless studio real quick.
Yes.
You've done a wonderful job. This used to be your porch.
Yeah, it was like a carport.
I mean, I'm impressed. You've done a really, really good job.
Thanks, man.
Jen
Go
must
team.
be really proud of you.
Go team. Jen was integral in the whole thing. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. It looks terrific. So great. Thanks to Stressless for getting us in here and Horse Trailer Pros for being our title sponsor.
Yeah, they both made it happen for sure.
We've got some interesting stuff to talk about.
Yeah, you know what? I think we should just get right into it because the hot topic right now is, of course, the controversy with Katie Monahan-Prudhomme.
All right.
So I have some strong opinions on it, and I haven't said anything because I've been saving it up for us.
Right.
But what are your thoughts on all of this?
Well, first, let's put it in context. I think they're referring to a training session that happened in 2016. And so that was recorded. It was archived, and then they put it up, and they did.
No, this training session just happened. The one that all the snippets are from, that's one that just happened this year. The old thing is from an old. Her interview is from a while ago, but this is the high perform. Well, the develop art.
So that version of that was recent. The interview was
correct
a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't find anything that bothered me in the videos. So except for maybe her tactfulness in using a whip.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely. I think it was incredibly unfair to take all of the snippets out of a clinic like that and take all of the inappropriate,
what could
in
be
quotes,
considered,
out of context. When you're teaching, sometimes to get through to students, you have to say things to make an impression. And I'm not condoning any sort of abuse or nastiness, but I think, when you ride in clinics with someone of that caliber, you want them to be frank and tell you exactly what it is. And I thought it was interesting. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I've heard one participant in that clinic who has said, oh yeah, that was terrible. I had a horrible time. It was impossible. And I think, the one thing that stuck in my mind is I would make that horse flip over before I'd let it go around the turn. It's a figure of speech, really.
Right.
She was making a point of, look, kid, you have to make this happen. It's a situation you have to get your horse to stop, and I would make my horse stop. Could she have used better words? I guess probably. But again, I think if you want to be critical of it, you have to look at the whole clinic.
Right.
See how is she in the entire clinic? How do the horses go? Do they improve? How are the riders dealing with the pressure of the clinic? And then you make a determination. But to go off of some guy who snips together little bits of it's totally unfair.
I mean, to tell you the truth, I was totally taken back when I started reading it, and I was like, what's going on?
Right.
And I think in doing clinics and teaching and even being a participant in clinics, but on the front side of giving clinics, sometimes you do have to rattle a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you get in, I think they get a little bit foggy in what they're doing, and it's not to be mean, it's to try to jolt them forward and have them understand, this is important, you need to listen, and something shocking might help that happen.
Well, and you know what else? Here's the thing. Did she say some stuff that was a bit rude and shocking? Possibly.
I thought.
Do we have to attack somebody and destroy them because of that?
No, not at all.
We could just say, hey, maybe just lighten up a little bit next time, and you're a genius, and thank you for being here.
But I think some of the stuff that she was saying, she would then, which was not in the snippet, she would go, and you are not that person.
Right.
So she would say something that would make you think, and then it was cut off, but then she would say, and you are not that person that I'm talking about.
Right.
But
again,
don't fall into that category, so why don't you get on the straight and narrow and get to where you need to be? I mean, we ride with Lucinda in the clinics, right?
Yep.
Lucinda can be pretty tough on you.
Yep.
She's in the moment, she's teaching, she's great at what she does. And I think that's across the board for everybody. I mean, we've had great people teach us. And I think in doing that, there's just ways of communication that's not to be demeaning or hurtful, but really helpful in what you're doing. And so I didn't find any of that bad.
Yeah, I agree. And the last thing I would just say on it is, as a student, I would take that sort of frank, maybe blunt, maybe slightly rude teaching way before somebody who just sort of doesn't pay attention and blows me off and just says, "There, you're doing a great job." Like,
right.
You're there to learn. So
you start your clinic and you end your clinic not getting anything out of it.
I would prefer that. So that said,
very good.
The other thing is we just had a big FEI meeting.
Right.
And there was some stuff that came out of that, so I just thought I'd sort of fill you in. So I took a few notes, and one of the things that I thought was interesting as far as high performance stuff was that for 5 longs and 4-star championships, now the minimum age for horses are going to be 9 to do that. It used to be 8. The other thing that we were talking about, right, that you thought was kind of weird is the frangible fence thing. So if you knock down a frangible fence, you have to wait for it to be reset before you attempt to jump it again. And I'm pretty sure if you jump it again without it being reset, I think you're eliminated.
And I think my point to you is I don't recall watching anything. I mean, I see it. I can see it. Like if you're in a show jump and you jump into an oxery and it knocks down and you fall back off of it, has to be rebuilt and then you jump it.
Yep.
I don't ever recall seeing a frangible, I'm not saying that it hasn't happened, where somebody jumps on it, the horse backs off of it, it's down. And then I don't know if I would know.
I bet it's happened.
I don't know what I would know what to do.
I bet it's happened because in show jumping, they stop and they take your time.
Right.
While they reset the fence. They don't do that on cross country.
Right.
So if you knock down a fence, I would
I
actually...
probably would just go like this. Done.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks very much. I'm alive.
I'm done. I'm going home. But yeah, I think it's very hard to then go and represent to a jump that's not the jump anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, you got to do it. The other thing that was sort of interesting, which was not a rule, but just a stat, which shows you how important these frangibles are, is 90% of horse falls last year were at non-frangible fences.
90% of the horse falls
were at the non-frangible jumps.
Okay.
They're still talking about the flag proposal, which is controversial, and so that's still being discussed.
I don't know how that's going to work out, but...
and that's probably the last
then,
of the
and then the Olympics for 2028 in LA. So going to what they consider a Nations Cup, basically.
Yeah, it's going to be a short, and we can talk about that. It'd be a good one, actually. Maybe we'll talk with Mike about that a lot as it comes up. But yeah, I think there's some consequences to that. So we'll get into that with Mike Huber later in the show. What we should probably do is take a break.
Sure.
Because we've got Mia Farley coming in. But actually, before we take the break, I'm really lucky because I had Grant Showalter here.
Oh, great.
And
Grant, I see them out in the audience.
Grant is going to come with me out to my barn.
And we're going to do his magic.
We're going to get Zelda, and he's going to explain to us what he does.
Oh, and Zelda probably really likes it.
Yeah, Zelda loves Grant. So Grant's going to show us what he does out in the barn. So we're going to quick run over there to do that, and then we'll be back.
All right. Sounds good.
So I'm here with Grant Showalter, and Grant, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So it's Grant Showalter, Equine Bodywork, and Saddle Fitting, correct?
Correct.
That's the name of the company.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you've been a big supporter of the podcast, like from day one. So thank you. I know it's actually Bianca who made you do it, but we appreciate it anyway. So obviously you're into horses, you do the horse thing, but how did you get into this business specifically? Like, what interested you in it?
Well, I've been around horses all my life. I grew up with them, and I kind of got into this when we met Doug Hannum at my farm in Virginia. He was doing a clinic there. So that's when I started with bodywork. That was 20 years ago, and I worked with him for about 6 or 7 years, learning his technique, how to alleviate sore muscles and soreness in the horse.
Right.
So that's what got me started in it.
Okay, and so I use you. We've got Zelda here, who is our star model, and I use you because, well, actually, I think it's an interesting story. You were working on horses here at my farm, and you worked on one, I think twice, and then I taught it again, and it was so much happier, so much better in its body. It performed so much better in the lessons. And I said to you immediately, like, okay, you got to come work on my horses. So I think that's just an important thing to say. Like, you're not here because, gosh, you said you'd help me out with the podcast. You're here because you actually worked with my horses, and then it evolved into this. So I know what you do, but these guys don't. So what do you do?
Well, basically what I do is when I go and work on a horse for the first time, I start up front. I look for soreness in the jaw, the TMJ area, and the pole area. And these are both very related. So I look for soreness here and alleviate it through trigger point. Kind of massage, a little more than massage, but it's a technique that I do. And then I go down addressing soreness in the neck, shoulder, wither area, lower back, and down into the hamstrings and the hips. Ultimately, what I'm looking for is things that are causing the soreness other than regular work.
And so is that where you got into the saddle fit stuff?
Yeah, we had a saddle fitter that traveled with us for years, and he did all that work. And I kind of got into saddle fitting out of necessity because I was working on horses in California, where I lived for 10 years, and I would fix their backs, and 2 weeks later they'd be sore.
Right.
So we're having saddle fit issues with a lot of my clients, and they needed someone that could adjust wool saddles, and that guy wasn't working with us. So that's how I learned, or why I learned to do that. So yeah, that kind of evolved into that. I do saddle fitting to kind of help the body work last longer.
And so if people want a saddle fit, do you come out and will you just fit a saddle, or is it an all-inclusive thing where you do the saddle fit and you do the body work and it all is together?
Well, if someone just wants me to check a saddle, I can do that for them. But a lot of times when I do body work on a horse, their backs will lift. When you release the soreness, their backs change.
Right.
So the saddle fit changes a little bit. So I like to work on the horse before I do the saddle fitting, just because it gives me a clean slate as far as pain
Sure.
in the horse's back to work with.
Okay. And then when you work on the horses, like I've watched you and they always respond really great to it. You do most of the work, I've noticed, like with your hands, but you also have this gun thing.
Yeah, I have an activator that I use, and that's a technique that I use to help horses that are disconnected with their hind end.
What are you saying? You use that on my horses a lot? Their hind end is disconnected?
Well, it also it stimulates the nervous system to promote continued healing in the muscles, and it helps my work last longer and work for a longer period.
Okay.
So it just stimulates the nervous system throughout the body, and it helps the horse, like I said, if there's a blockage somewhere in the spine or in the back, if you feel like your horse is a little, like he won't hold a lead one side or the other, or he feels like he's swapping out behind or disconnected, it opens that up.
Okay.
I did some work over the years on horses that had like shivers and string halt and stuff like that. It helps arrest and alleviate those symptoms in some horses. So
All right.
that's kind of what it does.
Cool. Well, so then the last thing is, obviously people are going to see your ad running during the break, but if they want to get you and they're in, I'm assuming it needs to be somewhere in the southeast, is that right?
Yeah, I live here in the Ocala area now, so I work around Florida. Within a few hours of here, I'll travel.
Okay. So in the greater Ocala metro area.
Yeah, if there's a large enough barn, I'll go down to Wellington, or you
Okay.
know, that's about as far as I'll travel now.
So how do they get you?
Just give me a call.
Okay, and what's the number they should call?
You don't have it on your show?
I do, but you should tell them as well. I'm trying to give you a plug and help you out.
Oh my God, it's 484-639-4454.
There you go. So they're going to give you a call.
We should have my banner up here or something.
Well, it's running on the bottom of the screen
Okay,
right
cool.
now. It's right here. It's right here.
Perfect.
All right, man. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks
We've got
for
your
having me.
red M&Ms in the studio, so
Perfect.
you can come in and grab some more of those.
Great. Thanks, John.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks, Zelda. Thanks, Grant, for showing us what you do on Zelda, and we're going to be right back with Mia Farley after we check in with some of our sponsors. Thank you to Horse Trailer Pros, and we'll be back in the Stressless studio here in a minute. Want to advertise on the Jon and Rick Show? Contact John at 352-875-8622.
Or call Rick at 850-879-2649.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Aero helmets represent real change for equestrian helmets, offering patented new technology and an unparalleled level of safety testing. It is the only Snell-certified helmet with MIPS on the market. Aero visors are interchangeable, meaning you can wear your Aero 3 ways, with a formal visor, a sun visor, and as a skull cap. Our shimmable liner means you can customize the fit for your head and your hairstyle. Upgrade to Aero today.
Hey, Rick here. Do you have a horse suffering from poor performance, anxiety and fear, low appetite, agitation, or nervousness? Stress Less can help. Stress Less, the hot horse remedy, is veterinarian-developed, all-natural formula that promotes calmness, focus, and mood balance in horses experiencing stress related to training, showing, racing, stall rest, and travel. This equine supplement encourages calmness, focus, and mood balance without affecting the motor skills or energy levels of your horse. It promotes a more willing and balanced temperament with no drowsiness or impaired function, resulting in increased focus, a calm mind, and a happier horse and rider. Try Stress Less today and see for yourself why we think Stress Less is the best hot horse remedy you will find. Check us out at centerlinedistribution.net and on Facebook and Instagram as Stress Less Horse Supplement.
Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com.
Equibrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
Equibrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order Equibrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649. Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are here in the Stress Less studio, and we have Mia Farley with us. This is our Equibrew segment, which is a really great live probiotic for horses out there. Guys, if you want something to really help the gut rejuvenate and work well, this is a live probiotic that you use every single day. Horses make big changes from behavior to the way they look. John, your horses are on it. It's just a really good live probiotic.
Yeah, every horse in the barn.
But here we are with Mia Farley. How are you?
I'm good.
The last time I think we've had you on the show before, but we had McDonald's given to you for the first time, the first show, which was in the first season, I think.
So have you ever had tostones before?
Toast what?
Exactly. See, we're expanding. Tostones. You have tostones over there.
Oh.
Yeah. So that'll be this adventure.
But it's not fast food, so.
Well, that was fried though.
Ugh. That'll do it.
Mia, you have had a pretty cool 2023.
Yeah, it was a year filled with a lot of emotions on my end.
For the good or the bad?
All of it.
Well, I know. Tell us about it, because you started probably January 2023, not thinking of what was going to happen toward the fall of 2023, right?
Yeah, I think for the people that know me well, I go day by day, and I don't really ever have a plan. And so we kind of just went from January, and the months went by, and come October, and I was like, oh my God, I'm entered for a big show. And then finished off the year with a bang, so.
So for everybody listening or watching, Mia Farley finished 4th at Maryland. Fifth.
Yeah.
I like fourth.
I was going to say third,
It's-
so.
Supposed to finish
Fifth.
third.
Yeah.
Fifth at Maryland, 5-star, your first 5-star. You were a rookie, correct?
Yep.
On David O'Connor's off-the-track thoroughbred,
Phelps.
Phelps. Just a really cool combination. I've watched you, David, and Phelps since he was like 4.
Yep.
Coming up the ranks, and it's just got to be really cool riding David's horse because you're at the O'Connor's barn and you do a lot of stuff for them.
Yep.
So tell us how it was to kind of come through all this and have David's horse be the one that you actually did really, really well on at a 5-star.
I think it's definitely special, and to have him, I started riding him when he was 4, and David was always pushing me. I was always a little bit on the other side of it, moving up the levels with him. I was like, I don't know. But David always knew, I think.
Can I tell a story? So I don't know if you ever heard this, but Jen, my wife, saw David at Ocala one time, and he was Tryon, and you were riding Phelps, and they were getting into it a little bit about like giving back to the sport and helping out, and he was giving Jen a little bit of a hard time, and she turned to him and said, "You know what, David? You want to help with the sport? Why don't you give that kid a good horse to ride?" And so after Maryland, I called Jen and I said, "I think you got to call David and apologize."
He's a very good boy.
He's a great horse, and but to be fair, you and David have made him a great horse. Like, he has a heart of gold and will do anything, and you have made him into that horse. But the point is, like, you can understand, whereas you were bringing him up as a young horse, you'd be like, I don't know, like, is he really?
No.
I kept on remembering each level you went up, you'd look at me and go, I don't know. I don't know.
It was the same up until it'll be the same in April, I'm
But
sure.
he just jumped higher each time.
He did, yeah. The faster you go, he gets up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, he was great.
So walk us through the course. I mean, in your brain, when you're doing cross country is the most important, right? So when you're going to Maryland, you're going out the box. You're like, okay, here we go. So walk us through.
So I was warming up, and I wasn't in the greatest mood.
I mean, I can't imagine why at a 5-star that you're not like, ooh, this is going to be
Was Woods
fun.
around anywhere? Was he
No, he was
hiding?
yeah.
Yeah, smart man.
But it was good. The warm up was good. It was casual. I went in the start box, and they started counting down. It was literally kind of like, I don't want to make it sound depressing, but they were.
But go ahead.
But go ahead, you're going to, so.
They were counting down, and I was like, well, here we go.
Going out there.
What else can I do? I'll give it my best shot. And Phelps did too. And so he, after the arena was kind of a slap in the face because that they put a little skinny jump after 2 big old tables.
Right.
Yep.
And so I had to pull him a bit to the skinny, and then I was like, damn, I have to be a little more accurate now. And then after that, I just kept kicking and steering until we finished. And he was great.
Yeah, I mean, when you were, you were the only one to make time.
Yeah, I think I just wanted to be done. I started. I was going.
I love you, Mia. Just wanted to be done. Just done. So, I mean, you were brilliant. We watched you. You and Phelps were, it was incredible to watch because we've known you for a very long time. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
Getting through the box, I do know that David O'Connor was crying a lot. Is that true?
Yes, yeah. I came through. I did not mean to make that all sound depressing. I was excited and happy to finish, and then I got off of Phelps, and I thought I was going to be fine, and then I saw David, and he looks very emotional, and then I was just like, broke down.
It's crazy.
But it's fun. I mean, it's really cool to bring something up from 4, and maybe something that we weren't completely sure if he was going to be a 5-star horse.
Right, and he's proved to be.
Yeah, and it's just Phelps. I always tell people, I'm like,
just
they're like,
Phelps.
why did he do that? I'm like, because it's Phelps.
He probably should be a
5-star horse?
A Breyer horse.
Yeah,
He should be a Breyer horse.
I mean, Phelps.
Phelps.
That's a good idea, actually. I don't
So-
think there's been an event Breyer horse since Teddy O'Connor, has there?
I know, right? I think it'd be
Another,
cool.
yeah.
But tell us, you also, Karen O'Connor has a really nice horse. That you were at 3-star at the Maryland with that one as well. Tell us about that. Tell us about Karen's horse.
So I was lucky to have Sammy there, Invictus, Sammy, Karen's 7-year-old.
Another one that's been brought up since it was like 3.
Yes, yeah, and we broke him. Backed him. He bucked me off a lot as a young horse. And then...
So he's like the opposite of Phelps.
Complete opposite, yeah.
Right.
Well, Phelps he'd get the zoomies and I'd fly off the back, and Sammy would stop and spin and I'd fly off the front. So I just had to like...
So totally the opposite.
Yeah.
Put it all together.
Yeah. But yeah, I was lucky to have Sammy there because he was a little bit of a distraction. Poor Sammy too. He got probably the emotional side of me. But it was good for him. He was great. He came out. Both of them came out really fit, and
you finished pretty well on him, didn't you?
I think I was middle of the pack on him.
Well, I mean,
yeah. But I was
it's
happy
a tough
with
3 long.
Yeah.
Yep.
As a 7-year-old in his first 3 long, and he had Sunday. He jumped really well, and he had a.
Well, talk to us about that because you were in first going into the final day, right? Or were you in?
I think I was in
On
third.
the 5-star.
That's
Third.
where I got third. That's why I said third.
Yeah.
Third.
Yeah, third.
Okay, you were in third. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then show jump is not Phelps' best.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I can remember a story, making sure we have time on this segment, at Tryon, or not Tryon, Terra Nova.
There's Tryon Terra Nova Plantation.
But you were, I think it was a 4 long in the spring.
Can't we just focus on the positive?
No, but I want to talk about it because she was adorable. And
you saw
she
me
was out there
crying
and she had to get ready for show jump.
Woods, does she cry a lot?
Yes.
Never.
Okay.
So she's in the show jump ring, and I couldn't help you at that time, but I saw the panic in your face because she had, for some reason, you didn't have somebody there. For some reason, I don't know why. She couldn't get a show jump before she was going in. She was like, I go in like 2. I need to jump. So
Yeah, that was tough. Terra Nova, yeah, that was a little scarring. Phelps isn't the best show jumper anyway, and I have a specific warm up for him, and nothing went to plan at all.
Right.
and
So,
then flash forward, Maryland.
yeah, and then Maryland. But you just never know with. I mean, if you get the warm up right and everything. But I also have gotten the warm up right with him, and he's had more than ideal down.
I do remember you as we wind down this one. I do remember you telling me something. I was talking to you somewhere, and you said something about before you went in, something that clicked in your head when you went in to show jump at Maryland that you went around and jumped. Ooh. Do you remember?
Oh, no. That's perfect. That's going to be the cliffhanger. Wait.
Just
we
wait.
want to know what you were thinking.
1 minute.
Yeah. See? Good job. So, thank you. You need
Thank you, Equibrew.
There you go. Thank you to Equibrew. We are going to be right back with Mia, and she's going to tell us all about her mindset going into Maryland 5 stars show jumping on the one and only Phelps.
Equibrew, now available in the USA. It's a live probiotic that you feed daily to your horses. The live microbes go into your horse's gut and cleans up the gut wall, creating a healthy gut system.
Equibrew is an essential part of my feeding program. My horses love to eat it, and it does a really good job of promoting gut health and also good behavior and great performances.
It's something I recommend for all of your horses, no matter what they do in their careers.
It's so affordable, I can use it on all of my horses in the barn, not just my top horses.
Order Equibrew today by going to brickfieldnutrition.com or calling 850-879-2649.
Grant Showalter has over 15 years of equine bodywork and saddle fitting experience. His technique allows him to identify and alleviate tightness in muscles. He uses trigger point massage to release points of restriction. Grant has over a decade of experience fitting and adjusting a wide variety of saddles. His expertise in equine physiology, coupled with a thorough understanding of the importance of a properly fitted saddle, allows him to quickly identify and correct any balance issues. Grant can also adjust your saddle on site. Grant works on all of my competition horses, and I have noticed a significant improvement in their performance at competitions and their overall way of going. Grant's based in Ocala, Florida year-round, but regularly travels to the surrounding areas. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 484-639-4454.
Hi, my name's Leslie Law, and we are a proud supporter of Jump for Joy. We've been using their portable cross-country jumps now for about 10 to 15 years. We love these jumps because, as you can see, they're very easy to move. I would only take another person on the other side and I could place this fence wherever I wanted to very easily.
Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're here in the Stressless studio. Remember to go to centerlinedistribution.net, use the promo code JR24, and that'll get you 20% off of all of your Stressless orders. We are still here with Mia, and Mia, we left on a cliffhanger because you were talking about you had like an epiphany right before you went into show jumping.
Yeah, it was like
at Maryland.
Crazy. It actually, the epiphany happened like 3 weeks before Maryland, but
That's less of being in the warm-up.
it came back.
Okay.
Because I forget a lot.
Okay.
And then it came back.
Okay.
So, yeah, my mindset on Sunday, I guess.
Yeah, and so tell us what happened, because there's always, for all of everybody out there, and I'm sure a lot of people listening and watching, we all have a bitting issue. We all do. It's like, what bit do we use? What works the best? How are you going to make the horse feel like it's soft and going where you want it to be controllable, not hurting it, So
Yeah.
same problem with Phelps, right?
Right.
Thoroughbreds are tough because
Yeah.
you need like a bit, but then you can't have a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
tough.
they're sensitive. So at the show before Maryland, I was having him in a Pelham because that's where I kind of got that softness and rideability and connection. And then he didn't jump high enough there 6 times.
That's not ideal.
And then I kind of thought, I was like, maybe, because he's so nice in the Pelham, maybe he's a little bit afraid of jumping into it. Mm-hmm. And so basically at Maryland, come Sunday, he's obviously perfect and great, and we usually do the warm-up on Sunday morning.
Like a pre-ride.
Yeah, pre-ride Sunday morning, just to get him not jumping that way as much as we can. And so I rode him in the Pelham, and then come show jumping, I was telling David, I was like, I don't think he is comfortable jumping into the Pelham, even though I love him around the course and everything. And so then we just threw him in the snaffle, and it was...
Off you went.
Yeah, off we went, and I kind of got, you can't lift up horses off the ground, but I kind of got to have that feeling where I...
But you kind of got that.
I had that feeling where I was like, yeah, Phelps, you're over. But I was, with the snaffle, I was able to. I think he was a lot more comfortable jumping.
Because ultimately you had how many rounds?
2, pretty good.
It's basically a clear round.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, it was a tough course.
Oh, I thought I was toast.
Do you know what? Nobody else did. That whole, I can say this, and I think you know it. The entire grandstand knew and was pulling for you to have a great round. There was not one person I talked to that wasn't like, oh yeah, show jumping's gonna be great today. God, I hope Mia I hope she has a great round. She's gonna be awesome. I hope Phelps can do it for her. Everybody was pulling for you, which is really cool. And apparently it's because people think you're nice because they don't actually know you that well.
I'm sweating. No, I think that's the biggest thing I learned at Maryland was I had no idea how many people would come together and everything. I felt it a little bit before, but then there I was like, whoa.
They really did.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it for you. I wanted it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted it for you. So here we are, 2024. I know you've got a really cool, I saw this mare that you were on the other day. She's beautiful. That one's yours?
Yes.
So tell us about your 2024 plans and what's going on.
My 2024 plans, I have my 3 competition horses, and then I have 2 babies that will hopefully be seen. They just went to their first schooling show today.
And that's one of the mare was one of them?
Nope, these ones are 4. The mare is, she is from Global Event Horses,
right.
yeah. And Cecile Zovegan, who is a family friend, wanted to support her for me.
Sweet.
And so I'm super excited about her. She's a jumper, but I think she likes eventing. She jumps right into the water and over ditches. So I was like,
Done.
perfect. Now we just have to do 30 other things. But she's great. She did her first event and she seemed like she loved it. So she's going to go out.
Her.
Yeah.
I just saw her standing there. I was like, I like that one.
Yeah, she's cute. I really like her. And I'm a little bit worried because sometimes it takes me a while to like the horses that I have a lot. and I really like her.
So I have a question talking about her, and who's the owner again?
Cecile.
Cecile. That has to be an easier owner than Mr. and Mrs. O'Connor. Those have to be stressful people to ride for. We all know them, we all love them, but like, there's no point can you be like, whatever, the stirrups are adjustable, why don't you get on? Because they can, they would. Right? Like what's it like riding horses for those two?
It's, you know what? It's really not that bad.
All right.
No.
Perfect.
No, it actually is. It's, they both have advice on their horses, and all advice is helpful. It does kind of suck when I can't get something right and they just get on and do it.
Right.
It's a little bit humbling.
This is what you do.
Yeah. They're like, it's easy. I'm like, well. But yeah, I mean, David and Karen are great. Cecile, though, she really likes to win. She'll laugh if she sees this. She's
right. She's a winner.
She's a winner. Yeah.
Well, that mare looks like a winner.
I think she's going to be a winner.
So I did talk to you the other day when you were on the mare at Majestic and asked you about what Kentucky was going to be for you this year. Was that going to be a 5-star as well?
Yes.
So Phelps is aiming for the 5-star.
Phelps is aiming for the 5-star again.
Awesome.
Yep. And then Firecracker, the one that did the 4-star this year, she's pregnant now.
Oh, good for Firecracker.
Yes.
Who did you breed her to?
Quintender.
Oh, wow. Isn't that a Karen?
I don't know, but it's a
Contender. It seems like some of her horses come from that. I don't know.
Contender and Quidam are in its bloodlines. But I also found out that when you're looking for stallions for your mare, it's like online dating. They have
Is it really?
Yes, they have their profiles and everything.
Do you get to swipe left or swipe right?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah. One didn't accept her, which kind of sucked, but
Really?
yeah.
Rude.
Diamant dissimulation.
It's really like that. You go, I want this one, and they go, no.
You don't swipe, but it is a page of a bunch of profiles. It's really interesting.
Huh.
It's kind of fun.
Is that how you found Woods?
No,
She swiped left, but he wouldn't leave.
Yeah. It just kept coming back.
Wouldn't come back? Well, that's great, because Firecracker, let everybody know about Firecracker. She was a great horse for you and did really well, and unfortunately she had some injuries and had to retire. So what did you do with her? You got on some
She
training lists?
she showed me the way. And so she kind of put my name out there, I think. And she was my young rider horse and 4-star horse, and
Yeah, she's a cool horse.
Yeah, really
She's
cool.
Firecracker.
She's Firecracker.
She's a spicy tamale.
Yeah.
So where will she
She
fall?
bullies me every
Where's
day.
she going to fall out?
I think up north.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know yet. I was actually just panicking about that today.
Were you?
And then I didn't come to a conclusion.
She only cried a little bit.
Only cried a little bit.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
So as we wind down in our segment, because I'm trying to keep up with John on his time.
I'm impressed you're watching the clock.
I will have to lean forward. now.
Okay, hold on.
But
Keep
so
going, keep
we're
going. I'll
excited
readjust.
for you. A same kind of build up for Kentucky, right? You're going to do, I don't know, are you going to do Stable View,
I'm going to do chat.
and then an intermediate and then go? To kind of keep it light?
Intermediate, 4-star, intermediate, Kentucky.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
Yeah.
So anything else going up there with you or just him?
just Phelps.
Just Phelps.
Yep.
And then Invictus, where's he going?
He is gonna wait. He's gonna do some more 3-stars. He's so big and young.
big.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna do some more 3-stars and then maybe look at 4-stars in the fall. But I don't know if he's got to do another long format this year.
I think your rating probably doesn't have to, but.
Yeah. So we'll see. But he's doing that, and then I have Tamale, the calculated chaos horse, and hopefully she'll be doing 3-stars and things this year. Yeah. And then I got some babies that I'm sure will feel even harder than those ones because they're babies.
Exactly right. Well, we just appreciate you being on the show. It's always a pleasure having you here, and I do always remember that we did introduce you to the big.
Yes, no, I love coming here. I always learn all the things here.
That was like our very first episode that we did with Horse Trailer Pros.
Yeah.
In their front office at their service desk. Now we've really moved up. We're now in a carport.
That's right.
So
Yeah, we're eating homemade food now.
that's true. Yes.
Yeah.
So make sure you get some tostones. They're deep fried. I did them myself.
Oh, yes.
You're gonna love those. And we're gonna be right back. So when we come back, we have Mike Huber.
Yep.
So that's going to be awesome. And thanks, everybody. Let's check in with the sponsors. Jump for Joy fences are easy to move, lightweight, durable, and low maintenance. So we're out here on the cross country. We just finished over in the show jumping over the Jump for Joy fences. Had a great time schooling over them. They're really nice and easy to move, so we were able to adjust some things and really have the exact school that we needed thanks to the Jump for Joy fences. I love them. Order yours at jumpforjoyusa.com.
Aero helmets represent real change for equestrian helmets, offering patented new technology and an unparalleled level of safety testing. It is the only Snell-certified helmet with MIPS on the market. Aero visors are interchangeable, meaning you can wear your Aero 3 ways, with a formal visor, a sun visor, and as a skull cap. Our shimmable liner means you can customize the fit for your head and your hairstyle. Upgrade to Aero today.
Since 1950, Maison Forestier has been offering its know-how to design custom-made saddles for passionate riders. In 2016, Maison Forestier took a turn and expanded into the sports world with the goal of improving the performance of the rider-horse pair. You will find a professional, reactive, and fun team to answer your needs. And this is why I have chosen Forestier for all of my saddlery needs. Feel free to contact the saddle expert in your area for more information by visiting www.forestier.com. Hey, it's John here. I just want to let you guys know I got back from schooling at Magnolia Sands Farm here in Ocala, Florida. Their cross-country field is perfectly suited for a first outing on a young horse or schooling your upper-level horse. Magnolia Sands offers over 110 jumps ranging from starter to intermediate, plus multiple banks, ditches, and waters. They're constantly updating their courses and have even added new ditches and a starter ditch wall. Conveniently located in Northeast Ocala, Magnolia Sands has made it easy for riders and trainers with online waivers, Venmo, and PayPal, and even offer a golf cart for guests. MagnoliaSandsFarm.com.
Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We are in the Stress Less Studios, and we are with a man that doesn't need any introduction, but I'm going to introduce him anyway. It's Mike Huber. Mike, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
And I think this is the first time you've been on the show.
It's been my first time. Yeah, it is my first time.
Wow, that's actually hard to believe.
Yeah, well.
I actually saw him last, I don't know if you remember this, it was the jumper shows at WEC, and I was like, Mike, we haven't had you on the show.
That's right. That's right.
Like, we got to have you on the show.
And then he called me and said, can we please get Mike on the show? And I was like, oh.
But thanks for being on the show. There's a lot of stuff going on in our sport, and I think we even, in our opener, we talked a little bit about Katie Monahan Prudent.
Right.
And instruction and kind of where we're all going these days. And I think you're the man to be able to talk to us about this, because I think you do have insight. You have some great things you've done for our sport. I would like to say you are the creator of the modified level in eventing, and I think it was, I remember when you were presenting that to the board. And
2 years in a row. It took 2 years.
It took 2 years for you to finally actually outvote me.
But thanks for that. So, here you are, you're in Ocala full time? Or
we are now, yes. We've sold everything in Texas, and we are here full time and love it. Really love it. Sheree and I love it.
So tell us about what you think, and John, you pipe in. Where do you want to take him right now? Because he's worth a lot of questions.
Well, I mean, if you're comfortable, I think the Katie Prudent thing it's the hot topic right now. So did you see the video that was out?
Yes.
And so what were your thoughts on all that?
Well, now today with modern technology and media, it's really changed things. And people like Katie or Mark Todd, some of the other stories we've heard, in the past, that was sort of accepted behavior, and nobody was there to record it. And so that has really changed, and it's making professionals now need to really think about the whole process of how they train, how they present. The one thing that I found, I mean, obviously there were a few of the individual comments that were, you could definitely say were not right, but I found it interesting as a coach that it was There was absolutely nothing positive to any rider.
Right.
Not, regardless of
In the snippets that were cut out, though. Or did you watch the whole clinic?
Well, I watched a good part of it.
Did you?
I
Okay.
mean, maybe 20 minutes.
Right,
But
okay.
But in that segment where she was dealing with a lot of people, I was a little disappointed in the negativity of that, where basically it didn't matter what they did, right or wrong, they were called
Interesting,
out.
yeah, because I watched the snippets.
Yeah.
And I just took it as, wow, this is so out of context.
Right.
But I will say, I didn't watch the whole clinic.
Right.
I watched little bits here and there.
I watched a large portion of it, and I mean, I think it was unfair to her on the snippets because where they cut it off, she would end it with, "And you're not that way," and so there's a lot of things in there that we didn't see.
Right.
And I think in today's world, to your point, we do need to be careful, but at the same time, I think, and John and I talked about this in the opening segment, is sometimes there's not a way to get through to people, and we have to be careful that we don't go too far the wrong way,
Right.
but still get in to have them, kind of wipe off the cobwebs and say, hey.
Yeah, sometimes, I mean, people, need to be throttled a little bit, right? In a way that otherwise, I think we've all seen people that have coached that, just say, how great you are.
Right.
And, oh, that was good. That was
Yes.
great. Do it again. That was great.
Yeah, and that's what I say, is I'd rather have somebody be hard on me than somebody do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. But, the tone and the language and the words are important to get that right.
I will say, sort of my last thought on this would be, even leading up to this because of the thing that happened with Mark Todd.
Sure.
And then you start seeing how, like you're saying, these videos get out. It does, as a instructor and as a clinician and a coach, it actually, while I personally feel like it is incredibly unfair on Katie that she's getting attacked, because however she said it, I don't believe you put in that time and effort because you don't care. And I don't know her at all. I've never met her. I don't know her personally, but I think she obviously loves horses and loves her job and wants to educate people.
Right.
So it is, I think it's tough. But it has actually made me be more thoughtful about how I coach and what I say.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it's like, oh, Dad's over there with a camera.
Right.
But actually also it makes me think, okay, you know what? Is there a way that I could make an impression on this person without being aggressive?
Right.
But it is tough.
It's tough. It's hard. I mean, that makes your job just that much harder, I suppose, than maybe in times past.
Yeah. So I think the other thing that we should talk about is, it is a good point, and I will say this, and I think I've said this to you privately, but the whole modified thing, when you came up with that, I said to you I thought it was a terrible idea, and that I would never vote for it, and I would never ride around one, and that it's just
not necessary.
It's not necessary, that if people aren't ready to go preliminary, then they should stay at training level, and that's the way it is, and the only thing it's ever going to do is it's going to be...
Oh my God, you went on and on.
I did. I'm just being honest, and I was like, you're making a division for a small group of people. It's going to detract and take away from the sport. I will tell you, I have now ridden my horses, several of them, at the modified level. It is incredibly helpful. It does educate them. It makes the move up to preliminary not nearly as treacherous. It's good for the horses. It's good for the students. So you were right, and I was not right.
Yes. Well, for me, I think good riders like yourself are always going to find a way between schooling, because the competition doesn't really get in your head so much.
Right.
But for some horses, they find, if you think about a training level show jumping course versus a preliminary one, you don't have to look twice in the ring to know which one it is. And for a lot of amateurs, that is a huge jump. And if, looking at our counterparts at the horse shows, you're looking at, you have it, you can go down to WEC and it starts at 0.65 and 75, 85, 95, you
Yep.
know, all the way up. And clearly that works because those smaller increments are easier for horse and rider to
Yeah.
absorb. And I think that the big thing, because, you know, for those that doubted at the beginning, you know, they say, oh, well, you can just do a preliminary training, but the cross country is a training course
Right.
at training level speed. And
Yeah, I said that too,
That's
you're
a,
right.
That's a big jump between 450 and 520.
Yep.
On the speed. So
Yeah, and I think one of your points when you were doing it over those 2 years that I'm glad finally it was approved.
Yeah.
Was the jump from training? It's the biggest jump between divisions is
Yep.
training to prelim.
Right.
And that gap is what you saw, which was brilliant to pull in that modified, and it fit perfectly in there.
Well, and it came at a great time too. That the FEI then, when they went from 4-star to 5-star,
Yeah.
right, everything dropped down. So now the modified is basically the 1-star,
And we have a little problem with that though with our side, because our modified's bigger than the 1-star.
correct.
Our width,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. There's a
Yeah,
little,
could you sort that out? Because I have tried talking to the designers about this, and they will not figure this out.
Yeah. No. That you know,
You were ahead of the game, which
we
is
were ahead of
great.
the game, but yeah, and adjustments
I should have stalled
can
you
be
one
made.
more year.
There you go. Yeah. But I had personal. I mean, obviously I watch a lot, you know, at events, and so I see these horses sometimes struggle moving
Right.
up to preliminary. And I had actually a student that had, I think, one of the nicest training level horses at that time, years ago, and she had never ridden beyond training at that point, and the horse had never gone, and it was a very careful horse, and it did not make the transition well. So she found herself constantly having to go back. Okay, I won 2 more trainings, and still struggling. And by that time, the horse was cooked.
Right.
It was no good. But I believe that for a horse like that, it would have potentially made it a real horse instead of, you know,
Not.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point. And like I said, you were right. It's worked out great, and kudos to you for getting it done. And
I know John's been blinking.
no,
You're
it's
on
fine.
zeros.
We're good. We can do what we want. We're hanging out
Because
with
he's
Mike.
so interesting, we just go over.
Totally. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come back. You have a bag
I
here.
do have a gift for you guys. Yeah.
All right. So we
All right.
need to check that out.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be right back in the Stressless studio. Thank you to Stressless. Again, centerlinedistribution.net. Use the promo code JR23. Thank you to Horse Trailer
24.
Pros. 24. JR24. Thank you, Rick. Thank you to Horse Trailer Pros. If you guys have any issues with any of your horse trailers, and you're anywhere in the Southeast, anywhere in the world really, you should probably just bring them to Horse Trailer Pros. Let Matt and his team sort it out for you.
For a horse owner on the road, your trailer is essential. No one enjoys being stuck on the road. At Horse Trailer Pros, we repair, renovate, and maintain all makes and models of horse trailers. We work directly with your insurance company or manufacturer for warranty repairs and insurance claims. Our state-of-the-art facility provides quick turnaround and friendly customer service. Considering a living quarter conversion? We do those too. Find comfort on the road with Horse Trailer Pros. Call or text 352-804-2131. HorseTrailerPros.com.
Welcome to The Hunt. The pursuit of greatness awaits, and we're on a mission to conquer our goals. Every step we take, every lift we make, we are driven by an insatiable hunger for excellence. There are no limits, no boundaries that can hold us back. We may have different objectives, but we share a common purpose: to push beyond our limits and achieve the extraordinary. Like a pack of fierce and unstoppable warriors, we stand united, a community of relentless individuals who refuse to settle for mediocrity. Obstacles, they're just stepping stones on our path to success. We welcome them, learn from them, and rise above them. We celebrate each other's victories and lift each other higher, inspiring greatness in one another. At CrossFit eFit, we don't just hunt for success, we embody it, breathe it, and conquer it. Prepare yourself because this isn't for the faint-hearted. This is for those who crave the thrill of pushing beyond the ordinary. CrossFit eFit, on the hunt.
Welcome back to the Jon and Rick Show, brought to you by Horse Trailer Pros. We're here in the Stress Less segment with Mr. Mike Huber. So Mike, before we get back into all of our discussion, we want to talk about modified, we want to talk about the Olympics as well. You brought something.
I did. I want to congratulate you guys on your new digs here, your new studio. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And like I said, the restaurant, the food was delicious.
Yeah,
so,
but I'll tell the chef.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I also wanted to congratulate the Packers for having a great finish of the season. Almost did it, right?
Almost.
And as you know, my wife and I rescue dachshunds, and when you do something like that, and you have wieners everywhere on your golf cart at the horse show, people start just giving you stuff.
Okay.
Right?
I'm intrigued as to what this could possibly be.
Yeah. So we get things given to us all the time, and we've had this item on one of our shelves, and it's always bothered me because it doesn't fit my Dallas Cowboy scheme. Because every time I look at this, I think of the Green Bay Packers. So this is for you. And it's you could probably adjust it where you actually can modify it a little bit with the proper logo or something, but it always,
this is great. This definitely looks very Green Bay.
Yeah, no, it's very Green Bay.
Yeah.
It's Green Bay. Yeah. Every time I looked at it, I go, I got to get this to John.
Yeah.
So,
It can sit right there.
Yeah, this is it right here. Like it says, in case you can't see it, it says, "Life is short, go long." Because it's a wiener dog in a Green Bay Packer outfit.
Yeah. Well, you know, on a lot of these sports shows, right, they have the helmets and all that.
Yeah.
You have a helmet right here.
Right, that's
actually.
our Arrow helmet.
So now this is your little Green Bay helmet.
I love it.
I love that. Was great.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I love wiener dogs. So
Yeah.
it's perfect.
That's great.
Perfect. Awesome. I'm going to just take this and
Thank you,
set it
Mike.
over here.
You're
Thank you, Mike.
welcome.
That's
You're
very
very
nice of you. Thank you, whoever gave it to Mike to give it to us.
Yes, I regifted it.
Regift is fine. It's an
Perfect.
accepted thing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we were talking about modified and 1-star, and so the issue is modified tables, which you guys came up with the measurements
prior to
the
FBI.
1-star. The modified
I'm gonna
tables.
blame Mark Phillips for that because he was the one I went to for all the
Right, when I wouldn't even talk to you about it, so.
Yeah, right.
So the modified tables are too wide
Right.
to be used in a 1-star.
I think the simple solution is just to, because we want a lot of these venues to have 1-stars, so just build, and we can change the rule, right? And we can do that, but I think if I was recommending to a builder and a designer
Just
now,
make it smaller.
make it FEI a little bit smaller, because I think we're going to get to the point of probably changing that to sync up. What's what we normally do.
Which I think Max was alluding to the fact that probably needed to happen, but I haven't seen anything in the works. But I think the fix is just make them a little bit smaller.
So,
but that's the
So the argument that I've heard from the
Sure.
builders is, except we built all these tables,
Right.
and we don't want to go to our organizers and say, thanks for spending all that money, now we have to rebuild
Can't they just
new
change
tables.
the back?
Yeah, I was going to say, surely.
Oh, I can hear all of the builders screaming right now. Do you hear that? They're screaming.
Use the
Sawing my
chainsaw,
jump
cut off the back.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sure there's a fix.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll
All
work
right.
on
If
it.
you could sort that out,
I will.
because otherwise I'm going to tell you guys did it wrong.
Did it wrong, yeah.
But the other thing that's, I don't know, John, if you've driven by, but this guy's become quite the farm developer. He's
All
got
right.
2 beautiful pieces of property, actually 3, but 2 are being developed. And tell us about that. That's off of 329. Really cool. I drive by all the time and go, Mike, you're really putting your equestrian touch to it, so it looks great.
Well, you know, everyone Ocala is now the place to be, and everybody comes, and it's really hard to find property that, especially you find maybe a nice farm, but the house is dated, or the barn. So we decided to do some new builds, and so these houses are brand new, and the barns are brand new, and so it's a new farm, which it is really something that you, for the most part, can't find here.
So as you look around the studio here, are you thinking that you might want to hire me to do some building for you?
Sure.
This was a carport.
I know. You've done great. Yes.
I had nothing to do with putting it in.
Sorry.
I
can always put you to work, John.
All right, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
No problem.
No, it's really cool to see it coming along.
It's a fun project. It's fun. Yeah,
and it's about to be finished.
The first one, yes. I was closing in on the first one. Yeah.
And then your time is also spent here helping out some other people here in Ocala?
Yeah, I do. Now that I'm sort of semi-retired, and don't have a big barn, I was telling Mia earlier that, we just have a small barn in our farm, and I do some trailering lessons, and I help Jacob and Cornelia Fletcher and Alyssa Phillips and a few other amateurs. And I kind of do it. I help people I want to help now, and don't want a full schedule. So for me, between but the first three I mentioned with Jacob, Cornelia, and Alyssa, it's just fun because they're so talented and have lovely horses, and so it's just fun to be a part of it and guide them along and try to do some good.
Seems like you might be teaching some pony lessons soon then.
Yes, that is definitely.
Congratulations to Jacob and Cornelia.
Yes, they are expecting.
Equestrian.
Yes, the new equestrian on the way.
So the other thing I want to make sure that we have time for here is...
We have as much time as we need.
You're right, but I want to make sure we have just no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure.
The Olympics.
Yep.
So the Olympics in LA, I will say, I am sure are going to happen. They will, well, obviously the Olympics are, but eventing in the Olympics is going to happen.
Right.
But the proposal from the FEI is that it's going to be a short. So
I think everybody knew that
was going
to go that way.
So do you have any thoughts on it? And before you answer, I will just say this. When we got rid of the roads and tracks at the Olympics, I remember the conversation being, well, that's fine, we'll get rid of it at the Olympics, but it will never change for Burley and badminton in Kentucky. It's going to stay along and it'll stay proper eventing, and things changed. So with that said...
Yeah, I think it's interesting, it's evolution. Obviously it's come a long way, rightly or wrongly, it's changed. The thing I think about a lot is the fact that and in our selection procedures, you guys are aware of what that is. Everybody reads them all the time. It says priority given to 5-star performance, and I struggle with that a little bit because what makes a 5-star cross-country horse a winner doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be the best 4-star horse.
Well, like Cornelia's mare. Incredible 5-star horse.
Yes.
But it would be tough at a 4 short.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think, again, going back to when we had the roads and tracks, we all rode thoroughbreds. I mean, you can go down Bruce Davidson's seniors roster of winners, and they were all American thoroughbreds for the most part.
Yep.
A few exceptions. And so as it has evolved into the shorter tracks, it's changed the kind of horses we're using now. The dressage is now it's much more difficult. I mean, back in my time, we didn't have to do changes. I remember the best story was when King William and Mary King, when they changed the rules. I mean, the horse was like 14 then, and it didn't do a change. And coming from winning badminton and Burley to not even being in the top half of the dressage, So it made everybody, and I think that part has made everybody better. The show jumping is more technical. And the cups and everything are different. It's made things better. But where I was going was, I think that it's going to be critical about how a lot of countries don't even really put a big onus on a 5-star. They don't have a 5-star available, in a lot of part of Europe, or, you think about riders here now are spoiled because they've got 2 5-stars they can drive to, right? I mean, put yourself in, Italy or somewhere like that, where you're in the southern part of Italy, you've got to drive forever to get to a 5-star. And the team may say, we don't even need you to do that.
Right.
I mean, the Germans don't do, with the exception of Michael Young and a few, they really don't do a lot. I mean, if you look at Lou Mullen, for example, they all enter their championship class.
Right.
And they don't even a lot of them don't even do the 5-star. So you have to ask the question, when you're changing the type of horse you need to win at a 4-star, and I think all of you can probably think of a few in this country that are winners at the 4-star that you wouldn't probably, either because of blood or braveness, whatever, but that doesn't mean they wouldn't be the winner at the 4-star. And so what I struggle with is that some other countries, and with the exception, I think the only country that still is like the United States, putting the emphasis on a 5-star is the British. But they have deep pockets.
Right.
I mean, deep pockets in numbers.
Of horses, yes.
And so you have to ask yourself the question, if we are transitioning to a 4-star short championship, then to me, I don't think Badminton Burley will ever go away. They shouldn't. I hope they don't in Kentucky. But it's kind of like jumping people that have a speed horse or a Grand Prix. If you have a 1.60 horse, chances are they don't have to be. That's not going to be a fast. It doesn't have to be as fast as a horse that is going to do a $25,000 Grand Prix at a 1.45 or a 1.40.
Right.
Because those are, you take somebody like Aaron Vail or Tracy, they go just...
They go flat out.
Flat out.
Yeah.
And at a 1.60, you have to be a little bit more mindful, and it's more about the track than the speed in most cases, because you don't get that many going clear. And so it's a little bit the same thing. So they have different horses for different classes.
But is there enough money in eventing to have something like that?
I think we've already transitioned.
I think you've already got people that have multiple horses, and some that they know are a 5-star horse. And again, there's plenty of prize money in that to keep one for that. But then also you have to say, and it's all fine and well to say, well, we only have X, but then you have to pick. You have to pick as a country, in a way, you have to pick how you are going to poise yourself in this realm of picking teams. And if you're, in other words, if you're looking at, we look at Kentucky as being our, premier final selection trial.
It's going to go away.
But if you're looking at a 4-star short championship, that might not be the right class to be picking from.
Well, and I guess that's my thought, is then you want that to be your premier competition. I think at some point, then Kentucky's going to say, we want to be the premier competition that you're still picking the teams
but
from.
They already have a 4 short there.
So maybe that becomes the class.
That may be.
Maybe it becomes a 5 short.
Well, we have the World Championship.
I do have. I hope we don't go to 5 shorts.
I hope we don't as well, but I bet we do.
I think that could be trouble.
But you were right on the modified. You're probably right on this.
Well, no. I mean, I don't know. I will tell you that I remember when I'm old enough to remember when they used to call them CICs, right? Mm-hmm. Before. And when they first started that, in the UK, the horse trials, when I was living there, the horse trials were running at 600 meters a minute cross country, okay? And so when they, and at the horse trials, because there was no money to speak of in it, people just went as quickly as they needed to go. And yes, it's short, and there were only a couple of venues where you could even think about making the time. Well, then the CICs came in, and they start putting money into those CICs, and at that point in time, they were running him at 600 meters a minute.
Right.
And it didn't go well. So the first thing they said is, okay, we're going to go back to 570. Right. So you just have to decide what, the sport has to decide exactly where it's going, but it's going to dictate what kind of horse you need, and then the teams are going to have to decide how they're going to pick for those teams.
Right.
And it's going to be an interesting situation. And you could, if I will give an example, if you look at, for example, the Pan Am team this year, you had a wide variety. You had a 5-star horse. You had I think 2 of the 4 shorts. One was the winner that hadn't even done a 4 long.
We had 2 5-star horses, and then
right.
Yeah.
So you had a mixture because you want a certain guarantee of a cross country horse. So it could be that way. But I'm not sure that going forward in the selection procedure, the team may need, the powers to be, may need to adjust and take out the wordage of preference to 5-star horses.
Yeah, no, it's a good point.
So
I'm actually sitting here wondering why we haven't had you on before. And
we need to have it
when we can get you back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk to Cherie and see when I can get you back.
And we can get another one of those with another football outfit on.
Yeah, well,
maybe we can get a real one.
Jaguars.
Bring one of your real live dogs with
great.
a football Packer uniform on him.
Oh yes. I'm going to have one of those.
Yeah, maybe we'll get you one.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate it, and definitely want to have you back. Everybody out there, remember Stress Less is our studio here, and JR24 for a 20% discount.
Centerlinedistribution.net.
There you go. Join us again for our next show that's in a couple of weeks, and thanks again, Mike, for being here.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Definitely.
Very good.
Thanks,
Very
man.
good. Thanks.
Appreciate it. We have an awesome show for you guys today.
The greatest eventer of all time.
Good news for the sport.